So now that I've gotten out of a match of Crucible, because I wanted to do that so that I could get a full picture, if you will, um, the combat, despite the fact that you don't start out with special ammo anymore, it seems they've sped up how quickly you can get special ammo. Another thing is if you die, you don't drop your special ammo, but the enemy that killed you can pick up your special ammo, and of course, vice versa. That being said, if you're not a fan of the PvP before because it was too intense, you're not going to be a fan of it now because it's actually more intense, and I think that's because the players that are left are kind of like your pinnacle peak. There's not really new players. Like, everybody knows what they're doing, and people are actually playing the objective. There's no way that the team that I went up against was bots. AI, as advanced as it's becoming, is just still not capable of that level of play, right? That being said, I imagine if you try to go into more of the niche playlists and things, you'll probably run into those AIs. That was a big issue, or in Trials of Osiris, they kind of inflated their numbers. There's a lot of videos of people just getting these brain-dead AI that can't possibly compete with a human player because it was also poorly implemented. So, AI is already inferior, but then when you implement it poorly, it does incredibly poorly. That being said, if you're not a fan of the PvP and everything because it was too intense before, everything's been cranked up to 10 just because there's so few players that the people you are getting matched up against really know their stuff. For reference, we ended the match where every person on our entire team in a game of Control had over 70 kills, myself included. We were massacring each other and trading like just death for death, basically, in the sense that 1 minute you get wiped out along with the rest of your team, and the next minute you and the rest of your team wipe everybody else out. It was kind of ridiculous. So the PvP is more intense, not because they've made enough changes or that they've readjusted or reacquainted things, but rather because the people that are left are just on a whole nother level where everything's just trade death for death.